The City Council is the sole legislative body of the City of Framingham and is therefore responsible for passing city ordinances. The City Council is made up of 11 members who exercise the legislative powers of Framingham. 2 of these members are known as councilors at large and 9 members are known as district councilors. The City Council serves as a link between the citizens of Framingham and their municipal government. Councilors help constituents by connecting them to resources, services, and city departments, and also serve as advocates for all Framingham residents. The following City Council coverage is brought to you by the Government Channel, a service of the City of Framingham.
Good evening and welcome to the City Council meeting for May 19th, 2026. We are using version 3 of the agenda in the public meeting portal and published to iLegislate this evening. You see the 5 councilors who are here. I'm told councilors Ward, Ottaviani, Bryant, and Long are going to be remote tonight, so that will require, again, all votes have to be a roll call vote with any councilor is remote. So we have minutes for 4/21/26.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Okay.
That's very loud.
Any further discussion? All those in favor? Councilor Leon Bruno.
Yes.
First matter is Councilor Long.
Yes.
Councilor Ward.
Yes.
Councilor Feeney.
Yes.
Councilor Cannon.
Yes.
Councilor Alexander, are you here? Seeing not right now. Councilor Ottaviani, are you here?
Yes.
Okay. Councilor Malik.
Yes.
Councilor Stefanini. Councilor Bryant, are you here? Yes. And myself, yes. So it's 9 in favor with Councilor Bryant and Councilor Alexander not present. Okay. At the outset of our meeting, I would like to ask for all of us here to have a moment of silence in memory of Paul Miner. For those of you who know Paul, you know what he did, but he was a longtime service to the community as the director of the United Way. And as United Way expanded, he expanded that role throughout many communities. So I just ask if we could have a brief moment of silence in memory of Mr. Miner, who died last week. Thank you very much. Next is our joint proclamation of the City Council and the Mayor to recognize the week of May 17th through 23rd as National Public Works Week. Mr. Mayor?
Okay, thank you, Mr. Chairman. National Public Works Week, May 17th to 23rd, 2026. Rooted in service, powered by community. Whereas public works professionals focus on infrastructure, facilities, and services that are of vital importance to sustainable and resilient communities, as well as to public health, high quality of life, and the overall well-being of the residents of Framingham. And whereas these essential services could not be provided without the dedicated efforts of public works professionals, including engineers, managers, and employees at all levels of government, including those serving within the Highway and Sanitation Department, Water and Sewer Department, Traffic and Transportation Department, and support services from engineering, fleet, and administration departments, who are responsible for building, maintaining, and protecting our city's transportation systems, water supply and wastewater pumping facilities, solid waste collection, maintenance around public buildings, and other essential and critical infrastructure. And whereas public works professionals are steadfast in their commitment to serving the community, often known as first responders, working behind the scenes and in challenging conditions, including severe weather events, to ensure the safety, health, and continuing the daily functioning of our city. And whereas it is in the public interest for the residents, civic leaders, and youth of Framingham to gain knowledge of and maintain an ongoing understanding of the importance of public works, also known as the silent arm of public service, is dedicated to the vital role these services play in strengthening and sustaining our community. And whereas the year 2026 marks the 66th annual National Public Works Week, sponsored by the American Public Works Association, celebrating the theme Rooted in Service, Powered by Community, which highlights the dedication of public works professionals and their essential contributions to our quality of life. Now therefore, the mayor and the city council of the city of Framingham do hereby proclaim the week of May 17th through May 23rd, 2026 as National Public Works Week in the city of Framingham, and urge all residents to recognize and honor the contributions of public works professionals and to participate in activities and events that celebrate their service. Signed by the mayor and members of the city council. Mr. Lewis is going to address the meeting.
Okay, Mr. Lewis, go ahead.
On behalf of the entire Public Works, I'd like to sincerely thank the mayor and the members of the city council for this proclamation, for this National Public Works Week. Your recognition means a great deal to the staff and the hardworking men and women in Public Works. Excuse me. Many residents never see the long hours, overnight repairs, emergency responses, and the personal sacrifices that the Public Works employees, but they experience the results every day, and they see when they turn the faucet on, drive on safe roads, and receive weekly collections from their trash and throughout the functioning intersections. This year's proclamation is especially personal for me. This marks my fourth National Public Works National Public Works Week proclamation in Framingham as Framingham's Director of Public Works. It is also my last proclamation here as I prepare for my retirement going forward after closing out 32 years of public service here. It's been a lifetime lesson for me, an experience for me, and I personally like to say thank you for the opportunity as I plan for my retirement. And thank you again to Mayor Sisitsky, City Council, for the continuing support and appreciation and recognition. The essential roles of Public Works is known as the silent arm of public safety. It plays a protecting public health, safety, and quality of life in the entire community. Last year I gave you little magnets that Public Works makes it happen. They do it all the time, especially with this rainstorm we just had this evening. The staff are out clearing catch basins with flooded roads. We just called in lights and signals folks to fix a couple of intersections that got struck by lightning. So that's just a demonstration of what Public Works does on a moment's notice. And we all experienced the snowstorms this year. Outstanding job by Public Works. So again, thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Mr. Lewis. Mr. Lewis, I wouldn't necessarily rule out you getting future proclamations from us, though. There may be things that we ask you to do. All right. So, public participation, I don't see the list from... I'll go to Zoom while we wait to see if anybody in the room. I have 2 on Zoom, and let me see how many we have in the room. Do we have anybody? No? Okay, so it's 2 in those. Okay, so it's 3 minutes each. So I will ask the people on Zoom to identify themselves and limit their speech to 3 minutes. The first one would be Catherine Smith. Identify yourself.
Hi, this is Catherine Smith. Can you hear me?
Yep, go ahead.
Good evening.
Good evening.
I am speaking tonight on behalf of the Framingham Special Education Parent Advisory Council, also known as CPAC. We're back to urge you to fully fund the school committee's budget. Further cuts will directly harm students. Additional reductions mean fewer supports for our most vulnerable learners, including students with disabilities. They would also result in fewer staff to maintain
Excuse me, Ms. Smith, I'm sorry, I should have been clear about this. The budget is actually on our agenda tonight. I anticipate it'll be a relatively brief discussion, but we are going to take public participation on the budget at that time, if that's our rule. I'm sorry about that. So you can just stand by, okay?
Okay.
Thank you. Is anyone else on Zoom who has their hand up? If you could put your hand down unless you're looking to talk about something that's not on our agenda tonight. Okay, well, I still see two hands. Is someone with a number that begins 508-881? Can you please identify yourself, your address, and what you'd like to speak about?
Can you hear me, Mr. Chairman?
Yes, I can, Mr.
Friend's house tonight.
I guess so.
I'm out of town. I'm out of town tonight, and I'm going to be brief.
If you're going to speak about the budget, I have to ask you to wait, Mr. Bloomfield.
I'm not speaking about the budget. I'm speaking about the roles and the functions of the people that look at the budget condition as opposed to the budgets themselves.
Not Mr. Bloomfield, you're going to have to wait, because it's only fair, as I asked Ms. Smith to wait, and that's close enough to the budget that I'm going to ask you to wait.
I'm not talking about the budget. I'm talking about the functions of the people that are responsible.
I understand, I'm making it, yeah, I understand. Mr. Bloomfield, you're going to have to
Has
wait if
Mr.
you'd like to
Bloomfield
speak.
moved to Ashland? His
I don't-
number's in Ashland.
I don't know, yeah, I don't know. Okay, someone named Jessica's iPhone, go ahead. State your name, subject.
Hi, yes, Jessica Villatoro, District 4. I'll keep it very brief, and I just want to say that I think that the City Council and Mayor's Office need to be seriously considering a tax override to help preserve the quality of education at Framingham Public Schools. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. Seeing no other public participation. Next on the agenda, I'm sorry, you had not signed up, but go ahead. 3 minutes.
Yep, Donna Kilcoy, Northford, District 1. I just want to kind of dispel a myth about the Knobscott area. The people have really been kind of groundswell more of notary zoning. And the myth I want to dispel is within a mile of the Edgell Water Street Edmonds intersection, there are actually 8 apartment buildings and multi-home dwellings, or, the Windsor Green. And Windsor Green has one road that goes out to Edgell Road, which causes some congestion. We have the new apartment building on Water Street. And so I don't want people to think that we're just out there with no apartments and no multifamily developments. So we have 8 within a mile of that intersection, if you draw a circle from that intersection. So people need to be a little bit more mindful of that. And I really don't want to hear about how people from Knobscott need to kind of suck it up and the revenue and all of that. I stood by the people for Salem End because it wasn't right what was going on there. And I think it needs to be a citywide plan and not to pit one area against another. I have to tell you, it was very disturbing to hear that it was okay to consider eminent domain for Salem End Road, because that was okay to spend millions of dollars to preserve that neighborhood, but it's okay to kind of put down the people in Knobscott who are trying to preserve their neighborhood. So thank you.
Thank you. Okay, next, we have a public hearing. It's a continued discussion and consideration of zoning amendments to Clark's Hill. The public hearing was opened on March 17th, and at the council meeting at 4/7, we also heard it, and now we are going to reopen it again, I believe. Ms. Long is not here, so are you prepared for us to take this tonight, or did you want to postpone it?
Sorry. No, I didn't want to postpone it. The only reason I came down is because I'm having some medical issues with vision, so.
I'm sorry to hear that, but I mean, so you still want to go forward with it, though?
Yeah, no, I still want to go forward. This is, needs to get done. So I have worked with the city solicitor and with the attorney, and she's actually in the attendees. You might want to promote her, Kathy Garahan, Attorney Garahan. She's in the attendee waiting room. So we worked together over the last couple of weeks to review the MOU and finalize it, and I apologize for the late submission, but the three of us have pretty busy schedules, and Kate, our city solicitor, has been under the gun with other stuff, so we finally got to finalize that tonight with, it's not all that different than the original MOU that was submitted to the council earlier that's in the background information, and it does have some inclusion. Mr. Sarkeesian had provided his comments. We reviewed those comments and incorporated a couple of them that passed legal muster, because there were some legal challenges with some of the comments that he had introduced into it. So what you're seeing tonight, and again, I apologize for the last minute, but we really do need to get this done. And I don't know what to say other than the MOU is solid. It squarely ties the zoning amendment to the city council's approval and follow up on that. So if there is any changes or any reason why they would have to come back because we're not finding what's going on appropriate, they'd have to come back through the city council again. So the city council has the total control over the zoning process, and it's tied to any future zoning amendments regarding this PRD revision. And Attorney Carahan might have some additional comments on this, but other than that, the original MOU that you saw, pretty much it's not that different. There was just a few things added in. For example, 10 years, where if they do sell to a nonprofit, which is highly unlikely, that there would be an arrangement, supplemental amendment with the city council, with the developer to provide tax relief. Because one of the important features of changing the zoning is to allow for this development and redevelopment of this property so that we can increase our economic development revenue, because we need revenue very badly.
So in order to get,
Also-
do you want to make a motion at this time?
Well, I didn't know if anybody wanted to hear. I'll make the motion.
I mean, I
that the
think
city
at this
council-
point, since we're far enough down the road, I mean,
Right.
I mean, we would intend to vote tonight? Is that your thought process going into this?
I would hope so. And one thing I will have to say, I'll backtrack on I went and reviewed, because this is a special permit, and it would be the zoning board of appeals, because we advertised it that way, so we can't change it to the planning board. If someone wants to do that down the road, they could do it. But the ZBA would be the authority. It is a special permit process, so under that, even though it falls under the housing choice and multifamily, because there's a special permit involved, it does require a supermajority vote. On the zoning, on the MOU, it's a simple majority.
All right, so why don't you make the motion, then Ms. Gary can speak if she would like to add anything to it, and then if any councilors have any questions or comments, okay?
Okay, I was trying to find the actual language from the advertisement.
Well, do you want to wait a minute, and I'll have Ms. Gary speak, and then you can compose your motion?
Okay,
Would that be helpful?
yeah, that would be helpful, because I need to get that actual language.
Okay, so Ms. Gary, why don't you speak, and then we'll go back to Ms. Long for a motion, and then we'll have any discussion.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. And we want to thank you for having us back again tonight. I really have nothing to add to what the subcommittee chair just summarized, but Mr. Theodorakis and I are available to answer any other questions that you might like to raise. I know we've gone through a lot already, but we certainly would be happy to answer any other questions that you have.
That sounds fine. And you can join us if you'd like up here, if you want to. Your client can join us if you'd like to. It's up to you. You don't have to, but I mean, yeah. That's what I thought, so. All right, so. Okay. So, Ms. Long, are you ready to make the motion?
Nope, I'm still looking, I'm sorry. It's been kind of a rough day.
That's all right. I just think it would,
Can we make comments? Maybe?
well, I mean, I think, yes, the answer will be yes to that. I just think it'd be easier, since we intend to vote, to have a motion on the table to have a discussion, but,
Okay, I think I got it.
okay, if she has it, I don't want to hold it up anymore, but if she has it, let's go with that, and then we'll go forward.
Okay, so I make a motion that the city council recommend favorable action on the zoning map amendment for Clark's Hill proposal from R1 single-family residence to the planned reuse district, which is PRD, expansion of the PRD district into parcel ID 122-184022-000, parcel ID 129177723-000, a portion of Clarks Hill Lane roadway, all currently zone M manufacturing. Revisions to the table of uses, section 435, attachment 1 for PRD. Amendments as presented to section 435.10 and 435.6D related to PRD. Amendments to 435.10, I'm sorry, I already said that. Amendments to the table of dimensional regulations, section 4E, attachment 2, setbacks, building height, FAR, maximum lot coverage, and a site-specific footnote applicable to the Clarks Hill parcels, which does not allow for a variance. So that is my motion. And further, to approve the MOU as reviewed by the city solicitor, as recommended by the city solicitor and myself.
Is there a second, Staviani? Did I hear you say second?
Second, yep.
Okay, I just want to clarify, it's not to recommend, it's to accept. You
Yeah,
said
to accept, I'm sorry.
that's all right. Or approve or whatever, so it's an affirmative action.
Point of procedure.
Yes.
So the first vote requires a 2/3 vote, and the second part of the motion requires a majority, so the whole motion requires 2/3?
Yes. Because
No, the MOU would be the first vote, and that only requires a simple majority. The special permit part, that does require a supermajority.
So we'd have to split the motion into two
we
motions.
certainly can do that, but I mean, the MOU is not really very,
It's not zoning, it's just an agreement.
right, so if you don't get the, so I mean, I don't really see why you couldn't, because an MOU standing alone is not going to do you any good, so unless you get the 2/3 vote, the majority doesn't matter.
Okay.
So,
Two other procedural questions? This is the first of two votes?
Yes.
And last question, why is the MOU signed by the council and not by the mayor?
Because the council is the legislative body that is responsible for zoning, not the mayor. This is a legislative function because we're exclusively speaking to zoning. We're not speaking to any land use matters that involves the city or any financial matters where the city's spending money. There's no land taking. So because this is strictly a zoning amendment and a zoning map change, there is nothing that requires the mayor's signature or any executive action. It's all strictly the city council, the authority for zoning under chapter 40A.
So I guess my follow-up question is, why do we need an MOU? It seems, because we're in charge of zoning and because the developer's going to operate under the zoning, why do we need an MOU? What do we get out of the MOU? Why do we need it?
So, Kathy, do you want to explain that?
Well, it's been negotiated from the beginning that, going back to the subcommittee working with the developer to support the zoning change. It's not an MOU, is certainly not required under the statute, but it is often used, either a development agreement, an MOU, something along that lines, as an agreement, what the developer will do as part of the agreement of the city council to change the zoning. So
Mr. Chairman, can I follow up?
it's a nice to have, I guess I would say. It's not required under state law.
But just reading it, Ms. Garahan, the things that are helpful in there are things that are requirements of your client with Mr. Sarkeesian and the city, which this agreement does not bind, because the council can't bind him unless it's, I'm having a hard time understanding why this isn't just superfluous. Because it doesn't give us anything, and I'm trying to figure out what it is you need in this that you want, or what is it that we as a city want, because I'm not understanding that, because it's not enforceable against the city.
I think, just so I can comment.
wait. question was to Ms. Garahan at first, and then,
I was going to elaborate.
Yeah, I mean, what the city is agreeing to do is change the zoning. So that's, which is voluntary on the city's part.
it's really more of a
So
legal
it's a
question.
two-way.
It's really a
I'm
legal
sorry.
question, though, as to what. Mr. Sarkeesian has his hand up, Ms. Garahan, if you'd like him to take a shot at it. But again,
Sure.
he's obviously not the city solicitor, but feel free to try. Right, he can try, so.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Sarkis Sarkeesian, Director of Planning and Community Development. The developers agreement was suggested when we were going through the zoning changes because we wanted to put more guardrails in place for this development. This gentleman here, Mr. Tharakis, doesn't have everlasting life. He someday decides, I'm going to sell this property to a nonprofit developer. We've been talking about taxes for the city, further protection for the city. So there's language in there that would prevent this being sold, whether it be for a 40B development, which would put us in a difficult position because then all the rules are thrown away. But it was just to provide more safety and more guardrails for this development to go forward. I had a lot more language in there. I've worked with developers agreements. I don't know if you guys know Wayland Town Center that got built on Route 20. That was an intensive developers agreement that was developed through the Board of Selectmen at the time, and then the Planning Board actually had to issue a special permit. We do have the special permit guardrails in place, of course, through the Zoning Board of Appeals. But the developers agreement was just another safety measure to keep us so that we have protection for the city. There was language in there that was taken out regarding the design that we talked about in detail, that the neighbors were concerned about having these large buildings being built on top of their single-family homes. And so we had different language in there, but all of those issues can be worked out through the special permit.
Right.
Thank you.
Mr. Chairman?
And also-
I won't belabor the point, just everything you talk about is an executive function. The Wayland thing you're talking about is an executive function of the selectmen. The planning board, the zoning regulations are all executive functions. The executive is not bound by this agreement.
I think,
So I don't understand the guardrails if the people who are doing the guardrails aren't part of the agreement.
Those aren't
But John,
executive
we
functions.
can't put zoning, like selling to a nonprofit developer, we can't put that in our zoning, right? So if he wanted to sell this to a nonprofit developer, nonprofit goes in, the whole building goes to nonprofit. Now we get zero tax dollars. We can't do that through zoning. The only way you can do that is through a developer's
I think the
agreement.
question is it binding on the executive, the town itself? We're not the administrative executive authority of the town, so that's the question.
Well, I think the mayor, who enforces is probably the question. Who's going to enforce the developer's agreement? I would say it would be the mayor.
Right, so maybe, should the mayor sign the document?
If I may, Mr. Chair, the city council enforces the agreement. And the city solicitor put in language to really bring that home.
I understand, Ms. Garrison, I understand, and I don't want to get into a legal debate here, and maybe
Sure.
that's correct, but I've never seen the city council be able to take legal action on behalf of the city. We're just not authorized.
If I could,
We don't have the authority under mass law, under our charter, to take legal authority on behalf of the city.
The city council, I'm trying to point you to the provision she put in, that if there was an issue, it would be discussed at the city council. If they can't come to agreement, they would mediate it.
Right, but the issue Mr. Stephanie raises, and I think it's a
Yeah.
good one, is that may be all fair and good, and your agreement may give us that right, but the law doesn't give us that right. We don't have that authority under Massachusetts law, or under that I know of, or under our charter that I know of, to enforce legal agreements, to take legal action. In fact, we can't. So if someone violated this agreement, as valuable as it may be, the city council could pout all they'd like about it being violated and say, no, 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 but there's not much else we could do other than that. So I just wonder, what would the downside of the mayor signing on to this be?
The city council is the entity granting or not granting zoning.
I can understand that.
So the agreement is what the developer's agreeing to in exchange for the zoning change. So,
I'm assuming the city solicitor is not here, right? I don't see her, but maybe.
yeah, I don't know if that she was going to be able to come.
I mean, a simple question, Mr. Garion. Is it okay, is it acceptable to you that if the agreement is executed by the mayor rather than the council?
I'd really want to see what the city solicitor said about that. When we talked to her today, she was pretty clear that this was between the council and the developer.
Okay. Well, I mean, I don't know, that may throw a little monkey wrench into the motion for tonight, but let's see how we go. So let's talk about the proposal overall. Anybody in the room have a question or comment? Remembering this is our third public hearing in this matter, so. Ms. Malik.
Thank you. I was disappointed, I'll say, that the recommendations of the planning board to divide up the different parcels with different conditions wasn't taken into consideration here. But I do respect that this was reviewed by council and by Mr. Sarkeesian. So I guess it wasn't clear to me why the zoning board of appeals is still the special permit granting authority, because my understanding was this was our opportunity to change that for all of the PRD districts to make that the planning board. So I don't know if somebody can explain that to me again.
Who are you directing that to?
Anybody who can explain it to me.
Who would like to try to answer that question?
I can answer it. We did discuss that with the city solicitor, and because it wasn't advertised that we were changing it to the planning board, she said that we would have to leave it as the ZBA, who has been the authority right along for PRD. So that is why it's remaining as the ZBA being the authority. So if at some future point the council want to make an amendment on that, they could. But at this time, it will remain the ZBA.
And if I may, Mr. Chair, part of the reason that the wording of the changes were to keep it with the special permit granting authority that exists, which is right now is the ZBA. But it was because if you had changed zoning back in December to allow the city council to be the special permit granting authority over a certain number, this would have automatically gone over to the city council, as being the special permit granting entity in the ordinance. So, so that's why planning board wasn't stuck in at that time, because there was a chance that it was going to be city council. So, but the solicitor said it would need to be re-advertised, as Ms. Long said, that could happen at another time. But at this point, it didn't seem to make sense for this property and this developer to have to go back to square one to change that.
Okay, follow-up from Ms. Malik.
I appreciate that explanation. I know we did discuss here in the council changing it to the planning board to be the special permit granting authority within a PRD, so I would like to see that be something that we look at in the future. And then I have concerns about the road and the condition of the road. That's something that the neighbors have been adamant be addressed, and I don't see how that's being addressed here. So I don't know if somebody can sort of assuage my fears that this is not at all mentioned in the MOU.
So Ms. Garahan.
So we also spent time speaking to the city solicitor about this, but what the developer has said all along is, as being one of the abutters to the road, the appropriate share, he'd be open to talking about, but he's certainly not in a position to take on the whole road, including a private road that doesn't abut his own entrance. It's still somewhat unclear if the ownership of the entire stretch of the road, but it's just not appropriate for the developer to take on the the off-site road for this project. So I don't know if the subcommittee chair wants to add to that, but.
No, so I'm going to do this, okay, just for procedural purposes here. This is a difficult discussion, and we have a lot of important players in this discussion on Zoom. It makes it difficult. So if people on Zoom want to be recognized, please put your hand up. Please just do not speak out, okay, because it makes it difficult in the room. Final quick follow-up, Ms. Malik?
It's my understanding that ownership of the road is clearly laid out in the planning board decision that allowed for the development to be made, which is that the 4 abutters of the road all have joint responsibility for the road. I think it was clear in intent on what the planning board said. The lack of clarity maybe is that some of the abutters have no interest and have made it clear they have no interest in maintaining the road. But as written by the planning board decision, I do think it's clear who owns the road. And it really concerns me that we're putting rezoning into effect in this area that's not going to resolve the issue of the road.
Anybody else in the room here would like a question or comment? Okay, seeing none, Ms. Bryant.
Thank you, Chair. All of what Councilor Malik said is very true. So I'm glad she brought it up for the neighbors in her district. But, and all the detail that Council Long was given and Attorney Garahan and all of that, that is great. I am excited that finally we see final drafts, but I am disappointed in the fact that this is a total violation of open meeting law, and that the public was not given proper designated time to review these latest changes. And when I was on planning and zoning, we cautioned against that previously in this same matter, but in several of these matters, not to expect us as a subcommittee or to approve changes on good faith that we had not had time to see in advance of our meeting, and then to be expected to vote on it. So I'm surprised and disappointed that it came up again like this. And I'm very disappointed because I've been waiting to, I was in favor of this project for quite a while, and I was a little frustrated at the time lag, but I know it's complex, and I had full confidence that it would be, go through, would be voted. So it was just dotting the I's and crossing the T's, I figured. But again, I don't understand why any of us can, and I absolutely cannot overlook the violation, as much as I'm in favor of the project, of having these changes that we're supposed to take on good faith, which contradicts fully why you write ordinances and put them in place. Even if the changes are minor as they are said to be, the public and the council should have the appropriate time to review them, just to be sure that to that point, if they were the exact same or whatever, then that should have been stated at all. Though I like Councilor Long's explanation of it, it just isn't proper procedure. So having said that, I think I would have to invoke Article 2, Section 9B.
It's not available.
Not available? Why not?
It's only available on the first reading of the motion.
Right.
Okay, all right then. Isn't this the first reading of the new,
is
the
not.
new revised plan? Because it's been
This is like
updated?
the 4th or 5th meeting on it.
It's the 4th or 5th meeting, but the documents have changed slightly.
So let me think about this one for a minute, but there are other, go ahead, Ms. Bryant, there are other options available to you anyway. You can move the table.
I hate to do it, but I will have to move to table
Okay, then move
until next meeting or a special meeting.
all right, move the table is not debatable. Is there a second to the move the table? Second by Mr. Alexander.
Point of parliamentary inquiry.
Yes.
What is the last day in which the council can vote on this matter?
I do not know the answer to that. Ms. Long, do you know the answer to that?
Well, so we have 90 days from the day that we close the public hearing, and the public hearing has not been closed.
Okay, thank you.
So we're all set there. Okay, so the move to table is not debatable. I'll start the roll call. I gotta find my roll call sheet, I'm sorry. Starting with Ms. Long,
Nope.
Mr. Ward,
No.
Ms. Feeney,
No.
Mr. Cannon,
No.
Mr. Alexander, Mr. Aviani,
No.
Ms. Malik,
No.
No.
Ms. Bryant,
Yes.
myself, no, Ms. Leambruno.
No.
Okay, it is not tabled. Ms. Bryant, I just want to check that section of the charter. I'll put that in reserve and get back to you on that for a final ruling. Mr. Ward.
Thank you, Chair. So I have comments on a couple of different points. One to Councilor Stefanini's questions around the enforceability of the MOU. If we're unsure of the enforceability, I'm not sure what we've been doing for the last 6 months or the last 4 or 5 meetings where we've been discussing this MOU and going back and forth on the language. So, that's kind of beside myself on that one. In terms of the content of the MOU, I'll be honest, I'm pretty disappointed because I'm very supportive of this project. We met a month ago and we discussed a number of different things that we wanted included in the MOU, or at least answers to come back to us on. There were questions around, one, I remember us discussing language around the office reuse being a required first step before additional structures could be approved. I don't see that anywhere in there. We did ask that there be an answer on the street repair and potential acceptance or future acceptance, what would need to go into that down the road. There's nothing in that in the MOU. We talked about, and I believe Mr. Theodorakis agreed that he would agree to not build on the front lot abutting Bishop Street. There's nothing on that in the MOU. I had questions, I don't know if everyone agreed with them, but questions around what the height restrictions were and if we could put language in around not allowing variances on the height restrictions. I don't see anything about that in the MOU. So unfortunately, the MOU hasn't really changed much since our last meeting. So I still have a lot of questions.
Okay, thank you. Anybody else? So the issue of Ms. Bryant's, what's that?
There are residents here who might want to speak since the public hearing's still open. Up to you.
Is the public hearing still open? We did close the public hearing at one point.
No.
We didn't know.
Was it?
We had to open it tonight again.
We haven't, well, it's already open, so it's on the agenda if it's open, so. Yes, sir.
Thank you. My name is Phil Altman. I just want to put my 2 cents here. I think Clark Street is the perfect place for apartments or condos in Framingham. It's off the main road. It's a little bit out of sight. I think a lot of the people who move in here will walk to one of the 2 train stations. I don't think it'll cause a lot of new traffic. It'll bring in a lot of tax revenue. I don't think it's going to be disruptive at all. So I support whatever zoning has to be changed to get these new apartments. I live in one of the new apartments, and if it is apartments, and I'm not sure if it's a plan for apartments or condos, but this will be filled up in a minute. Within days, these apartments will be filled up, and in fact, I'll apply for one of them myself.
Okay, thank you. So on the issue of Ms. Bryan's request, I'm going to rule her request in order, and we will not vote on this evening. We'll vote on it at the next meeting. I think it's a little questionable, but I think that's the fair reading of the charter provision, and it's a little more complicated. It just takes 2 votes, but I think maybe we can take advantage of that situation to maybe iron out the issue of the mayor's role in the MOU, and also if you'd like, some of the questions brought up by other counselors. So at this point, we will not vote on this tonight. And it'll be on.
Point of clarification about the comment, just for the record, for the meeting minutes. Mr. Altman said Clark Street, but it's actually Clark's Hill. Clark Street is a different.
Yes, that's fine. All right. So with that, I think we're all set on this item for tonight. Thank you all. All right, so next on the agenda, if I can find the agenda, would be the report of the mayor. Mr. Mayor?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. As Memorial Day approaches, the city of Framingham invites residents to attend its annual Memorial Day ceremony on Monday at 11 a.m. at Nevins Hall. This year's keynote speaker will be Commander Bill Driscoll, a Framingham native, U.S. Navy veteran, former Top Gun instructor, and one of the Navy's first and only jet missile aces. The public is encouraged to attend as the community honors the men and women who made the ultimate sacrifice in service to our nation. Beginning Tuesday, May 26th, CSX will start track repairs at the Hollis Street grade crossing. The road will close at 5 a.m. and is expected to remain closed for several days. Detours will be in place and parking will be prohibited on several nearby neighborhood streets during the repair work. Following the Hollis Street repairs, the CSX crews will move to the Washacum grade crossing for Washacum Street grade crossing for additional track repairs on May 28th and 29th, with detours also expected in that area. Residents are encouraged to plan ahead as the detours will cause traffic backups. And all of this information has been posted in the city's website, together with maps showing the detours and the parking restrictions. Residents interested in serving their community are reminded that May 30th is the final day to apply to volunteer for more than 36 city boards, committees, and commissions. All of these commissions and openings can be found also on the city's website. City of Framingham will hold its 8th annual Pride flag raising ceremony on Sunday, May 31st at 2 p.m. at the Memorial Building Plaza. Following the ceremony, Out Metro West will host a Pride block party at their facility on Hollis Street from 3 to 6 p.m. Community members are invited to attend both events in celebration of inclusion, diversity, and pride. Over this past weekend, the Framingham Public Library celebrated the 10th anniversary of the Krista McAuliffe Branch Library, marking a decade of service, learning, and community engagement for residents across Framingham. Also this past weekend, the city held its inaugural Armed Forces Day ceremony at Cushing Memorial Chapel. The idea for the event originated with Veterans Council member Nick Paganella, whose efforts helped create a meaningful new tradition recognizing and honoring members of the United States Armed Forces. And that is my report.
Okay, thank you. Ms. Malik?
Thank you so much. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I have two questions. The first is about accessibility to some of the finance documents that continue to be shared. So last Wednesday, we had a finance meeting, and you and the CFO presented how you're thinking about the budget preliminary. You were very clear. It wasn't voted. It was just as you were walking through it. But because those documents weren't in our agenda, they're not available to the public. They're nowhere on the website. The best people can get from them is a screenshot of watching the meeting. And I'm concerned that we are in that same situation because there's no background materials for tomorrow night's finance meeting. So how are these documents, how are these discussions being provided for the public?
Weren't we going to put it on the Budget Central?
Yeah, I thought we did. We'll have it up. We'll put it up first.
You want to say that, please?
Thank you. Through you, Mr. Chair. I thought that the one from last Wednesday had been put up. It'll be put up first thing tomorrow morning, and the next one we're finalizing the final recommendations that we had discussed last week in preparation for tomorrow's meeting, but they'll go up as soon as we have them completed as well.
Okay. So it would be great if they could get both into the agenda as a link, which, if that's possible, I think people are used to going to the agenda, and then also on Budget Central, because that's where we can send people and they can see the progression of the conversation. I think that would be really helpful. Thank you for that. And then I have another question. We haven't talked in this forum at all about AI. And I'm curious, Mr. Mayor, what you're doing about a policy for AI use here in the city.
Once we get past the budget, and that's been taking up a lot of our attention, I plan on convening a meeting with my administrative staff to discuss how we move forward with it and come up with a plan for rolling out some form of the use of AI for not only the administrative staff and the people that work for the city, but for the public as well. So we'll be coming up with something, but we want to get past the budget first.
I appreciate that. It's my understanding that there are people using AI in some of the meeting minute transcriptions, so I know the budget's been a lot, but I do think there's an immediacy to that. Thank you.
Anyone else here for the mayor? Seeing none.
Mr. Chairman?
Yes. Yes.
Oh, thank you. I just want to say thank you. I know the CSX work on Hollow Street has been a long process, and dealing with CSX is very pleasant, but the group effort got us to where we need to be. There were lots and lots of tires literally lost over the winter on that, and so it'll be an inconvenience, but it's a good thing. So thank you.
Okay, nobody else? Nobody online? Okay, thank you, Mr. Mayor. Okay, so next is just a brief update on the referral of the Finance Subcommittee and where we are in the budget. We are, as just alluded to, having a meeting tomorrow night. We had a productive meeting last week in the Finance Subcommittee. I thought there might be potential for some action that had to be taken tonight based on that. That's why this agenda item's on there. I don't believe there is anything that we need to do, but if anybody has any questions of the status of the budget, certainly ask them, and I will take public comment too, if anybody has any public comment
Mr.
on the
Chairman?
budget. Yes.
If the mayor submits a new budget to us Wednesday, are you prepared to use your authority as chair to just refer it automatically to the Finance Committee? And does anybody have any objection to doing that?
So that is what was thinking about, and I think ultimately that's probably would make the most sense for what we do, so that we have it in the Finance Subcommittee. So if anyone has an objection, I would ask that it be brought up now. It's really just a technical thing, but to make sure if we do have a full budget submitted to us, that we can move within the time frame we have and have it in front of the Finance Subcommittee and the City Council rules to allow the chairman to unilaterally refer items to the subcommittees. So that is likely the way we will do it, assuming that budget is proposed tomorrow night. Okay. Does any other comments? Mr. Bloomfield, are you still here? Ms. Smith, are you still here? If either of you are here, I don't. Okay, there is someone here. So someone, Jessica, go ahead. You get 2-3 minutes.
Hi, Jessica. Hi, it's Jessica. I spoke earlier.
Yep.
I just wanted to say again that the City Council and Mayor's Office need to be looking seriously at a tax override to help preserve the quality of education in Framingham Public Schools. Additionally, the members of City Council and School Department need to be looking forward to ways to combine forces and make the best use of taxpayer money. I believe that there are many school central office positions and city positions that could be combined in order to allocate funds and appropriately give back funds to the school department so that student-facing positions do not need to be cut. The positions, i.e. teachers and building administrators in our schools, are essential to student growth. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, so, yes.
Good evening, Chris Mahoney, FTA President. I'm here tonight to urge the City Council to move the school through the school budget process forward as quickly and responsibly as possible. While we understand that the budget deliberations are difficult and that there are important questions to consider, time is no longer an abstract issue for educators and staff whose livelihoods are directly impacted by these decisions. There are very real contractual and statutory deadlines rapidly approaching that the district must meet. Under our collective bargaining agreement, June 1st is the deadline for the district to notify staff of transfers resulting from position eliminations. There are educators and professionals who may be told that the schools, classrooms, or roles that they have dedicated themselves to are changing because their current positions may no longer exist. In addition, June 15th is the statutory deadline for districts to notify non-professional status employees, staff in years 1 through 3, whether they are being reappointed or non-renewed for the next school year. Without budgetary resolution, a clear staffing determinations, the human resources would be forced to issue non-reappointment notices to all staff in years 1 through 3, simply to remain in compliance with state law. That is not a small number of employees. It represents approximately 47% of our teaching staff. The impact would be widespread and deeply destabilizing, particularly in programs that already face significant staffing challenges, including our ASD and dual language programs. Even if some of these notices were later rescinded, the damage caused by uncertainty, loss of trust, and potential departure of talented educators would be real. The longer this process remains unresolved, the more instability and anxiety creates across our schools. Delays affect staffing decisions, student programming, scheduling, hiring, and the district's ability to prepare responsibly for September. Most importantly, delays affect people. Our educators, paraeducators, and school staff have continued to show up every day for students. Despite ongoing uncertainty, they deserve a timely process and clear direction from city leadership. We ask the City Council to act with urgency, move this budget process forward, and provide the district with the clarity it needs to meet its obligations to staff, students, and families. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. Yes.
Good evening. My name is Therese Roberts, and I'm speaking for Catherine Smith. She wasn't able to stay on.
Thank you.
We're representing the Framingham Special Education Parent Advisory Council, also known as CPAC. We urge you to fully fund the school committee's budget. Further cuts will directly harm students. Additional reductions mean fewer supports to our most vulnerable learners, including students with disabilities. They would also result in fewer staff to maintain safe, stable school environments and weaken educational programs across the district. In challenging times, decisions should reflect a commitment to continuous and sustainable improvement for all Framingham students, including those duly identified as special education students and English language learners. Thank you.
Thank you for standing in and reading that. Okay. Anybody else? Okay, seeing none, next we have a presentation by the Framingham Economic Development Corporation regarding development of the priority development areas. Mr. McKenna, are you going to be leading the discussion, or who is? Okay, well.
There we go. Good evening, Council. Thanks for having us here tonight. I just wanted to start out and recognize some of our board members here. We have Rick Anketel, Patrick Macesso, Doug Steffen, and to my left is Dennis Cardiff. He is the treasurer, and our chair is Doug Lawrence. And we also have Doug Steffen. I owed him one from the last meeting. And I do want to have a shout out to in the back, wherever she is. Gina, are you here? Did she sneak out? Our super rock star. There she is. Intern from Framingham State. She has. Oh, yeah, and not here tonight is Marlene, Aaron, and Chris Connolly. Gina's single-handedly kept me from being in a straitjacket these past couple of months because we got a lot going on. So thank you very much, Gina. Okay, I want to start off a little bit off script by saying this one thing, especially as a person who has lived in Framingham my whole life. Framingham has been and has been for a long time, a sleeping giant. We have so much potential, so much going for us, and we really haven't brought it to fruition. What we are here for is to explore and expand and work on different programs and get this city, Framingham, back to what it used to be, which is a major leadership role in Massachusetts from our history. So I just wanted to get that out there. Thanks. Oh, we have the first slide up there. Can we go to the next slide, please? Just want to explain what the FEDC is about for those people that are unaware. The Framingham Economic Development Corporation is Framingham's quasi-public economic development organization. We are created by state legislation to help strengthen the city's economy through business attraction, retention, redevelopment, and workforce initiatives. Working in collaboration with the city, educational institutions, and private industry, the FEDC focuses on advancing strategic projects and partnerships, very important, that support long-term economic growth, innovation, and quality of life in Framingham. That's what we're about. And I also wanted to make one very important distinction about the difference between economic growth and economic development. Economic growth is all about numbers, increasing numbers, jobs, tax revenue, construction, business activity, all about the numbers. Economic development, on the other hand, is much broader. It focuses on improving the overall health, opportunity, and quality of life of a community, creating not just more growth, but better places to live, work, play, and build a future. Next slide, please. We have developed a Framingham Priority Development Areas Plan to coincide with the city's economic development plan. And this will be a yearly plan that by our charter we must do. Okay, so it'll change or get adapted every year. This map right here identifies 5 priority development areas, also known as PDAs, designated in coordination with the city's broader economic development objectives, and that's like working with Sarkeesian, as locations where targeted development and redevelopment efforts can most effectively advance Framingham's long-term economic growth, investment, and community vitality. We've identified 5 PDAs, as you'll see up here. The Pearl Street and Franklin Street area, Waverly Street Corridor, 135, Speen Street and Old Connecticut Path. Of particular concern is 500 Old Connecticut Path, Saxonville at Concord Street, and not to be the last for any reason, 990 Office Park and Tech Park. We have so much opportunity in that area to grow. Next slide, please. Okay, I just want to, it's a little bit difficult to see, but I just wanted to give you a little bit of an overview of the first PDA is Pearl Street and Franklin Street area. Of major concern, there's been a lot of talk about the Pearl Street Garage and what's happening to it, what's been going on, what hasn't been going on, and what the future is. We are hoping to have the city convey that property to the EDC so that we can work with developers to start a real, to get a catalyst going for the downtown and that area and start building that up. And as that happens, more of the downtown will see a lot more investment coming in. It kind of takes one area to start going up, and that will float all boats, as they say. The second is the Waverly Street corridor. That's 135. The map there has an area to the west of the center and to the east of the center. Now, in the center area between those two is the downtown, the business district, CBD, Central Business District. And that has its own particular zoning. However, the other parts of 135 have some zoning issues that need to be explored. There could be a lot of great development that would activate that area more and be a lot better for the community, especially in those areas. And another thing that I point out is that is the route for the Boston Marathon. And we're doing a little research. We've got like over 2 million people are tuning in on that around the world. And we really need to make that whole area look a little bit more presentable for the world as we continue to promote Framingham, locally, regionally, nationally, and even internationally. Saxonville, Speen Street and Old Connecticut Path. On Speen Street, adjacent to the Mass Pike, there are a number of antiquated office buildings that are a little bit outdated, and they're not filled, and they need some attention. So we would like to see different projects going on there, and not just have housing there, more of some campus type, which is explained in the plan. Saxonville at Concord Street, as the plans go for that intersection, we really would like to get involved with the Saxonville Fire Station and the Athenaeum. And we're going to be asking for a conveyance for that property because we can move it along a lot more expeditiously than a lot of the things that the city would need to do to take things forward and start redevelopment. Next slide, please. Okay. Framingham's historic manufacturing sector was defined by paper products, textiles, automotive assembly, and notably driven by Denison Manufacturing, Saxonville Mills, and General Motors Assembly Plant. Recent past years, about 75 years, we've had the world headquarters for Bose, the world headquarters for Staples, the world headquarters for TJX, and more recently, world headquarters for Ameresco. We have a huge digital manufacturing company, Sanofi. Now, what they do at Sanofi and Framingham is the model they have for all their manufacturing around the world. So it's very significant, very important. We have Replimune, CRISPR, Alira Health. We have over 40 life science companies and organizations in the city of Framingham presently. We have from digital pharma manufacturing, genetic testing, gene therapy, health tech, pharma research, rDNA research, and lab analysis companies. It's huge here, okay? So Framingham, we really are positioned to be the dominant player and be ahead of the curve in the emerging technologies in our region. AI and its applications in the life sciences and manufacturing, I think, is really our future, and we talk about that a lot. It's happening in the life sciences industries, okay, but we need to be a part of the research and organization to really get this moving along. Quantum computing, very important. It's right around the corner, and it's going to be the new engine behind AI. So we really should have an emphasis on, Massachusetts is going to be the quantum capital of the world. It's on its way to be the capital of the United States now. We've got NVIDIA coming with a quantum research facility. It's getting to be huge, and it's going to continue to grow. Next slide, please. Okay, this is what some of you have heard about, the Quails Initiative. Now, Quails is the acronym for Quantum, Quantum AI and Life Sciences. It's something I've been working on probably for 3.5, 4 years under tutelage of Sarkis Sarkeesian when I was working for the city, looking at future economic development for the city of Framingham. So this should be and could be the foundation of Framingham's new innovation district and an innovation center. The goal is to create a collaborative ecosystem where emerging technologies, research, startups, and industry come together in one place to drive innovation. Framingham is uniquely positioned to serve as a bridge between the established Boston-Cambridge market and the growing innovation economy to the west. Cambridge is getting overly expensive, congested, and since they are the bio capital of the world, they really are, they don't necessarily have the bandwidth for some of the new emerging technologies and the space, to be frank with you. So we're looking at the fifth PDA 990 Tech Park combination as a new innovation district, coined as the FID Framingham Innovation District. And the building at 1881 Worcester Road, which presently houses Advocates. Advocates will be leaving for a new building in Marlborough in October, November. We are in discussions about turning that building into an academic research center for this whole innovation district. We are working with really good partnerships with Framingham State University, Mass Bay, and a major international private university, which I'm not allowed to say yet, but big time. We're also working on new transit programming with the MWRTA, okay, in that whole area. We're looking at the rideshare, new DOT parking lot there. That used to be used for bus service from Boston. We'd like to work with the state and DOT to try to open that up for a bus service from Boston to Framingham to Worcester, so that we can have a lot better access for people, especially if there are going to be a lot of students coming into the area. We are also working on a big need in that area for amenity programs. You've got on any given day on both sides of Route 9 in Tech Park and 990, 6,000 to 7,000 employees. And outside of their own cafeterias, the only place to eat is Wendy's. And that's awful. Not that Wendy's is awful, but the other thing is these employees, this demographic, they do not eat Wendy's. Okay? We are also, one thing we're working on California Avenue is to assemble some food trucks and have an agora, which is a Greek term for an open eating meeting area. And we have a whole bunch of people working on that now. The idea there is to have this kind of like a show of faith to the whole corporate arena up there, that we're starting to work on things here, and we're working on amenities for their people. See, one of the things is these folks, they drive in to work from somewhere else, they go to work, and then they leave and go home. We should be able to capture a lot of those people and different things going on in Framingham. Okay, I think I just went ahead here. Next slide, please. I'm sure a lot of you have heard about geothermal. The first in the country utility conversion from gas to geothermal was in Framingham, and it's finished up. The continuation of that, I call it 2.0, was probably going to be in another part, maybe out in western Massachusetts. But the way it worked out for the Framingham project and the partnerships we've had with HET, Mass Clean Energy Center, Geothermal Drillers Association, and Eversource, 2.0 is going to be right here again. It's going to be a continuation. okay? And they are in the process of looking at different contract bids out for that. There is also discussion of a 3.0 down the road, but we won't get into that right now. We, the EDC, we've been in partnership with the city, namely Sean Luz, Geothermal Drillers Association and HEET this past year, and we've developed the Framingham Geothermal Workforce Alliance. This includes the GDA, Eversource, City of Framingham, MAPC, HEAT, Mass CEC, Framingham State University, Mass Bay, Keefe Tech, and Framingham Public Schools. Okay, working on workforce development and training programs. We're working to position the city of Framingham as what they call a center of excellence for geothermal training and workforce. And this is for the entire northeastern United States, and this is happening, folks, okay? And what follows with workforce development and training industry, and that's what we want. Next slide, please. Yeah. Okay, Framingham's competitive edge. As I started out talking about what Framingham has been a sleeping giant, we have to wake it up. We have a competitive edge. We've done competitive analysis with different, Cambridge, Seaport, Boston, Marlborough, Natick, and all that. We are really positioned well to take a big leadership role here. I'm going to run through these quickly, so if I go, yeah, quickly. We are a Platinum Bio-Ready community rating. That's the highest that there is in the state. We have over 40 life sciences companies. We have university, a community college, regional tech school. We have diversity of languages, over 18. World headquarters for companies like Bo Staples, TJX, Amoresco. First utility conversion geothermal in the country. First Logan Airport remote terminal will be in Framingham, opening in a few days, and that's another first. We have 2 entrances, exits to the Mass Pike. That is huge. Commuter rail passes right through our downtown. We're the hub for the MWRTA regional transit. We're home of the Framingham Heart Study, and before that was the tuberculosis study. Over 2,200 businesses, 45,000 jobs, $3.1 billion in payroll. That was of a couple of years ago. We have opportunity zones. I'm almost there. We have over 90 restaurants and food establishments in Framingham. We have over 60 miles of trails. We have 1,100 acres of blue space, which would be water. We have a skating arena. We have 3 public beaches. We have state parks. And we have the largest farmers market by vendor count in the state. These are all features for the future benefit of promoting Framingham. Next step, please. Next slide. Okay. Just want to let you know about what we're looking for here. We're looking for the City Council to approve this plan as we have presented it. And I want to make sure that folks know these development areas, and you may have read about them there, those are just the development areas. Any specific projects in those areas, that's another issue, and that's something that would be brought out to the public hearing and to City Council again to discuss and go over, okay? So that's the next step. The QR code here is for our website. Now, we are still tweaking the website. We've been doing it in-house, and there's so much that's been happening. We've been adding to it, and our hero Gina back there is working relentlessly on it. But what we're going to do is we're going to open it up to the public today, and we'll probably take it private after a day so people can get an idea of what we're doing here. And then we'll just finish up the tweaking and then have it totally launched. So, as an established economic development corporation, the FEDC has a unique opportunity to help shape Framingham's next generation economy from the ground up. So please support us as we evolve. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any comments, questions, Ms. Sweeney?
Thank you so much, Mr. Chair. Thank you so much, gentlemen, for being here. I'm glad to see the EDC up and running and with this report. And always, thrilled to see attention for District 3 with the tech park and 990 and how we're home for so many of the biotech. But my question is a little bit more with us in Saxonville and other municipal buildings and properties that are underutilized. Now, I have not made it a secret that I think that these should be taken care of. So you mentioned that you would like to get the Pearl Street garage. What is the timing for the Pearl Street garage? When, is there a holdup? And then the next question is about in Saxonville with the fire station. I think we could all agree, especially with this budget and where we're at, that unloading these properties that are not doing us any good will help our budget in the long run, not only for the budget, but for economics. I mean, we look at what happened in Ashland with their fire station. They were able, within a year, to make it into a brewery, and now it's the hottest place in Ashland. So, and I'm also not a patient woman, so I am curious what we're looking at for timeline with these properties and how you are attracting folks to them.
Okay, I'm going to give that one to Dennis.
Following tonight's meeting, there's a process to all of this. Following tonight's meeting, we will send a letter of request to the mayor, assuming your approval of the PDA we presented here this evening of the 5 districts. We will send a letter of request. It is our intent to focus on District 1, which is the Pearl Street garage. So we'll send a letter of request to the mayor to turn that into surplus property and turn it over to the FEDC. Following the turnover of that property to the FEDC and all the legal matters associated with that, which I can't respond to a time frame on, as you know, our solicitor is quite busy, so all that could take some time to transfer. However, that then spawns another plan that must come before you according to our legislation, and that is a detailed plan of that specific project within that PDA. So if the mayor does turn the property over to us as surplus, we will then present a detailed plan for the use of that, the future use of that facility. Now, whether that's maintained by the FEDC and the city or sold or other alternative use, we don't know at this time, but that'll be part of the detailed plan which will come before you. The time frame will be dependent on the property being turned over to the FEDC. The FEDC can move much quicker than the city because we do not have to go out to Chapter 30 bid. So we're already in negotiations with developers to take the property if that's the case. This property will spawn some 260 units of development over there, and that garage will become a private garage just for that developer so that those properties can be built. Otherwise, we can't build properties down. There's no parking. So this is just to meet the parking requirements for development of that area. And the developer that we're in discussions with, there's 2 developers we're in discussions with, the old Bates News property and the Eagles area around where the current developer is working.
Can I follow up?
Yes.
So what does that look like when you're doing a plan? Is that something that you are working with the economic development team and you're looking at existing plans? Is this something that you're having developers pitch ideas?
The developer will likely submit his ideas for a detailed plan of, first of all, the renovation of the garage. Mm-hmm. And first of all, we have to make an agreement with the developer to do an appraisal, mm-hmm. an as-is appraisal, and as completed appraisal. At that point, we can determine a value of the garage and determine whether it's feasible to sell the garage and get some sort of profit for the FEDC to operate, or to the FEDC to take on the development, the repairs of the garage and operate it. I don't think that's where we want to go, but we don't know that yet. The figures we haven't, the figures haven't gone out yet, but that will be in the detailed plan, all of that stuff. And part of that will include the developer's plan.
Okay. I do appreciate that, and I do hope that we can unload these municipal properties sooner than later, because I think there's a lot of benefits for all these neighborhoods. I'm not saying anything that no one knows, but I appreciate your work and where you are at the moment. But again, I would like to see and make sure that these projects are not just house-driven, and even though we need housing, and I'm not denying that, but I would love to make sure that we are getting good companies coming in and that we're using that to our advantage.
Transfer of this garage to a private operator will make for the city about between $60,000 and $75,000 in tax revenue on just the garage. However, the residence being built will spawn another $980,000. So you're going to, $1 million in tax revenue on the final product is going to come back to the city.
Which is great.
In mixed use.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Sure.
Anybody else here? Mr. Stefanini?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. First, thank you. This is the first ever report of our EDC, established under Chapter 283 from 22. It's taken us a while to get here, but we're here, which is good. One of the things about it that Rick sort of stepped over is the EDC needs the council to approve its plan in order for it to have authorization to work within those areas. And I'd like to make some comments, but I'd like to make a motion that we approve the EDC development plan and the 5 priority areas they've identified.
Second.
Moved and seconded.
And I don't think it requires a lot of conversation, and I don't want to be redundant, but all of our budget conversations, all of our conversation about schools, police, fire, we lag way behind Marlboro, Natick, Waltham, and our new growth. And there are a lot of reasons for that. And transition to a city should help us get through that, and we've been slow, and we're making some progress in that area. Mr. Sarkeesian, you've been doing a good job as well, sort of helping in the big picture of things and helping us get there. But we need to hasten our advance. We need to look at tax increment financing. We need to look at zoning. We need to be a little bit more focused and organized. It shouldn't take someone like Vios Theodorakis, who knows our community well, 5, 6, 7 meetings to get zoning done in the community. Thankfully, he's, got patience. A lot of developers would look at that and say, this community doesn't want us. So we've got to figure out how we do that. I know that's not your responsibility. That's on us, the council, and on the mayor and Mr. Sarkeesian. But these 5 areas you've identified, I think, have the potential for a lot of development, a lot of value, an ability to take properties that are otherwise contaminated, unable to be used, using whether it's mass development or your own financing. We've got some tools now. Let's not be bashful. I hope that we see you back here soon on one of those proposals to figure out how we advance the fire station, the parking garage, or something else. And it should be a regular occurrence, because each one of those, you talk about $900,000, Dennis, on that. $900,000 in the context of this budget.
Correct.
We're not having some of the issues that we have looking at.
And we're very excited about the opportunities that are in front of us. And like Councilor Feeney said, we'll look at the other buildings as well. Because we have to amend this every year, we can add any buildings or any areas we want as we go forward. But it's a requirement of our legislation to report to the council annually with a PDA, project development area, and any amendments to it on an annual basis. And that, naturally, that would be followed by detailed plans of any changes in those districts. So I think we can work together. We're very happy, and we have a great group of businessmen and women on the board, and they're very active, and they want to work in the direction that we believe the city needs to work to bring economic development to it.
Thank you, I appreciate that. Just one last question, Mr. Chairman. Question to Mr. Sarkeesian. Do you have any comments or thoughts for us on this first report from these folks?
Yes, thank you, gentlemen, for the presentation. I look at the PCDs and what's on, and we've been talking about this. The city has, for instance, the Pearl Street Garage. That area was discussed back in 2015. There was a study that was done to show more housing around the Pearl Street Garage. So we can build off some of these master plans that have already been in place for years. I also think that we need to focus. We need to focus on a project, and we need to bring a project from the start to finish. Right. I think that's really important for this community. But, you know, the mayor has stated in his economic development plan is that we have reached out to the businesses. We're very lucky and fortunate that we have companies like TJX who's been able to purchase properties along Speen Street and repurpose those buildings. Our actually office space numbers compared to the state are lower than some communities around us. So we're very fortunate. We've had good relationships that we've created with the Bose Corp and keeping our existing businesses strong. My last comment is the suburban office park. That needs to change. We need to change the suburban office park. And I think Rick mentioned amenity space and restaurants. That's something easy that we can do through zoning, make it easier for the companies to come in, and if they want to pop up a restaurant, we got to put those zoning in place, and we also have to address the parking. I think our parking requirement is over the top. I think we need to reduce that, look at our parking, so we can get more growth. And I just want to say this as your planning director, and it's hard for me to say this, but you can't grow yourself out of problems. It happened in Natick. You know, you talk about, Mr. Stefanini, you talk about new growth. Well, they had a lot of new growth, and they still have a budget override. So it takes, you know, the leadership that the mayor has regarding regionalization and everything else, that also needs to be part of this. It's just not one, there's not one answer. So I'll leave you at that, and thank you, gentlemen, for this start. Thank you.
Thanks, Audrey. Okay, any other questions? Mr. Cannon?
Just briefly, I know tonight was a housekeeping event. You have to, submit this so the mayor can start moving those properties over. I feel really good about the board that we have in place, and certainly thank you for the presentation. But all of you have, as people dig into who are these people that are now on our newish EDC, you all have really good track records in our community. You have a love and a track record of getting things done in Framingham. So I feel really good about that. And even just in the last few comments, Mr. Sarkeesian talking about, we need to do this with the parking requirements, and we need to do this with the tech park in 990. And the administration's commitment to moving some of those boulders forward. I feel really good about the direction that we're heading in, and I see the mayor's team working collaboratively with so many of the moving parts that make things happen in Framingham and in Metro West, and certainly however the council can be helpful there. But you make a couple of the right zoning changes, like what you alluded to with the tech park suburban office zoning. That can be transformational, and it's people are eager to do business with us. So I'm excited about where we're going and look forward to good news. And I'm certain that if we can be helpful, we'll be glad to. Thanks, everyone.
We appreciate your participation in our meetings.
Thank you for your
Mr. Alexander?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. It's really good to have you gentlemen here. We kind of touched upon this aspect of having a cohesive plan the last meeting, and I think I made a comment about certain areas of the city that definitely need some attention, particularly Route 9 and that westbound corridor west of 126 and between there and Route 30. So I was wondering if you can have a 5A and B added to this map. And I would even add across from there on the eastbound side that might be, I guess, it's before the apartments and the bakery or the honey bake. There's like the bootery place that used to be there. There's a kind of a derelict building there too. But and I also wanted to add, because we were just celebrating the groundbreaking of the courthouse, and I don't know if this would be a good time to be talking about or inserting the old courthouse into this whole mix. So that's why I just wanted to add that. And to end, why don't we just go big and bold and look at 2050, put in the tracks under the ground, underneath, yes, or over, yes.
Yeah, that's a bold vision, and we'd love to be able to be a part of that. So it would be fantastic to be 25 minutes from downtown Cambridge, which is possible if you look at the projects that could go on the rail corridor. So any strategy is about making choices and creating focus. So we definitely talked about a number of other areas in the city that we could do work. And this plan is creating that focus on those 5 areas, but we would love to hear the ideas of the council, of the community, about where we could go. And again, this is revised, this plan we're here, bringing here tonight, gets revised every year. So we could easily come back and put another area of focused development. We could conclude that certain areas aren't working out, and so we're going to drop one.
Right.
So it's a living document, it gets refreshed every year, and then the focus will be on each individual project plan. And we'll be holding very open public hearings, and each individual project plan will come back to the mayor, who's been very supportive of the Economic Development Corporation and what we're trying to accomplish. He's been to a number of our meetings and talked through these projects with us and helped us, pick these areas, and back to the council. So there's a very open process to get any of these particular projects done, and it's all something that's going to change and evolve over time.
And I would just tell you that your comments at the last meeting did not go unresponded to, because the next day I went into the office and I said, we need to look at those areas for our next PDA to the council. So we are
Excellent.
listening to you.
Excellent. I just to say, it's time to get up and get going, right?
We're on the move.
Move out.
Ms. Malik?
Thank you. Thank you all for being here. Just a request for those of us who can't make your meetings, if you could post the videos and the minutes of your meetings on the city's public website. They're not on there. So I don't know where the breakdown is, but they're not on there.
We'll look
So
into,
thank
there
you.
should be at least some of them there. I know we've had some issues with,
They should
Still
be
having
up, but we'll
issues.
check
they
with that.
should be there.
Ms. Bryant?
I'll look into that.
Okay, hold on, Ms. Bryant. Ms. Lambert, I'm sorry, I did not.
That's all right, she can go ahead.
No, go ahead. I'm trying to keep it
Okay.
between the room and
No,
TV.
thank you. I just wanted to also, this has been a long time coming. I know that this has been something that has been discussed for years. Way back when the FBA, the Framingham Business Association, started with many people here and many of your members. And, it seems like it was so long ago. It actually probably was. But just seeing, what, in a small amount of time, the work that you guys have done, I mean, it's a starting point. I think that you guys are offering something that we've needed, and it's hard, for the administration to do, they're busy with their day-to-days and running the city, and, Sarkey with, he's, on a million projects. I think that this is something that's going to be really good for the city, where you guys can find these areas and, with the collaboration with the city council and the mayor's office and administration, that this is sort of the thing that's been missing. And we just want to thank you guys for all the hard work that you've done. I think you have a great board, and I'm happy to support you.
Okay, Ms. Bryant?
Thank you, Chair, and thank you for being here, those from the committee that are here tonight. I will say, Mr. Steffen, that you allayed some of my questions and some of my fears when you said that it is a living document and that the plan is revised every year. And also, you mentioned the public hearings, because I was concerned, and, I'll wait to see, but it seems like this committee has a lot of independent power, but I was like, how will we know what's going on? But you've answered those things. I like the big vision, but in terms of the Pearl Street garage, right? What are you guys are talking to a private investor or several? What are some of the plans or ideas? And are you guys cognizant of the fact that, obviously there's a lot of churches in that area, there are businesses, and I heard Mr. Cardiff mention residences being built or to be built, a private operator for the garage, right, owner of that, and then residences being built around that. But I wear, because is there plans to tear down something? We have a apartment building going up, behind the garage, and right, and the railroad tracks are right behind that. So I just want to know, where would these other residences go? Are we going to tear down some buildings to rebuild or renovate? What?
I'll try to answer the first question.
Sorry,
The garage. The garage, the ability of a private developer to buy the garage and secure 200-plus spaces of private parking will give him the ability, a developer, the ability to build some 260 units of residence. It is determined that, well, there is a developer in the area right now next to the Armenian church that is looking at developing, that we have talked to about spaces in the garage. There's another developer that is currently building a 6-story building right next to across from the garage. I'm told he is building a second building and is making a deal with the Eagles to put a residential multi-use building there in place of the Eagles. And we'll build the Eagles a facility across the street with a multi-use building to the left of the existing building that is going up. So there's going to be plenty of development in that area. And we are working both, Saki has talked to us about the church utilizing parking spaces in the garage. We've talked to all the prospective individuals that are interested in the garage about that request. So we believe that we can make a deal that can go forward, that can satisfy both the church and the private developments that need to go on in that area.
And you said that you guys don't have to put things out to bid. Is that correct or no? I mean, how do you select?
Economic development corporations in the state of Massachusetts are exempt from Chapter 30 bidding.
So then how do you select or contact, do they contact you guys or
We negotiate directly with them just as we would if we were a private organization.
Okay, all right. And also, the other question is, so there really wasn't any mention of Route 9, which, the long-range plans, great. But in the meantime, shouldn't we be also trying to utilize, space for business and things that was already, where businesses were? Is that going on? You just didn't have a chance to mention it? To bring in that income, even as you guys work on the long-range plans of, as you say, developing the economic development plan, which is good, but it's big, right?
Yeah, we're a fledgling organization, and we need to start somewhere. And quite honestly, we picked 5 districts in the city. We are talking about areas all over Framingham. We've talked about a housing development behind Avalon and Saxonville, but right now, those plans are just pie-in-the-sky stuff. So, they weren't included in this PDA plan for you tonight, but again, as we indicated, can be expanded. If you have ideas of what you would like included in a plan for next year, we can amend it to include those. And some of it has been brought to our attention by Councilman Alexander. And, we'll take a look at those, Noel.
And Councilor Bryant, just in a particular area of Shoppers World with Urban Edge and what their plans are in Phase 1.
We're working with them.
We are working with them also as well, and that was spurred by Mr. Sarkeesian and his division there. But we are in touch with them as to what their plans are, and what they will be doing to that whole area will be another catalyst that itself will spur development right alongside of that area, because the properties become much more valuable, and then your supply and demand takes over.
Okay, that sounds excellent. Also, last question, the plan with AI, there's going to be a heavy emphasis on AI, right? Making us a hub for all of that technology for AI. And, that sounds good. But, and you did mention a few other things, right? So I just want to, I'm wondering, we're not putting all our eggs in the AI basket alone, right? Or the 3 things mentioned, right? You guys are open to other possibilities if someone brings you like an idea that seems a great fit for Framingham, Am I right?
Yes, yes. I mean, we're open minded for any different ideas. Right now, the quantum AI and life science is our best bet because of the infrastructure we already have. Okay, and there's a lot of interest from Mass Tech Collaborative and the state. If you look at the governor's recent economic development plan called the Mass Winds Bill, two of the main pillars of that bill have to do with quantum research and applied AI. So it's happening everywhere. All those companies that I mentioned are using artificial intelligence, whether it be agentic or the different realms of that. They're utilizing it now, and we just have to make sure that we can help them develop their applications better with research and partnerships with academia out here to keep that flow going.
Okay,
Great.
thank you.
Just thank you for the work and all that. And I'll just be praying that the machines do not become self-aware. That's a movie line from.
I'm going to take a vote now on the motion by Mr. Stefanini to approve this plan. Starting with Mr. Ward,
Yes.
Ms. Feeney?
Yes.
Mr. Cannon?
Yes.
Mr. Alexander?
Yes.
Mr. Aviani?
Yes.
Ms. Malik?
Yes.
Mr. Stefanini? Ms. Bryant?
Yes.
Myself, yes. Ms. Lean Bruno?
Yes.
And Ms. Long?
Yes.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Thank you for
guys.
coming in.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
Okay, next we need to revisit an item regarding the language that was adopted when we had the opt-in specialized building code, and Lisa Ferguson, city clerk, is here to explain as to what the issue is and what we need to do to deal with it.
Thank you. So we're revisiting order number 2025-065. It's now 003. And this is in regards to the opt-in specialized building code. I'm going to read the vote that was taken on December 2nd, 2025, that the City Council votes to adopt the specialized opt-in energy code pursuant to 225 CMR 22 and Appendix RC and 225 CMR 23 and the Appendix CC, and any future additions, amendments, or modifications thereto with an effective date of July 1st, 2026, for the purpose of regulating the design and construction of buildings for sustainability, efficiency, and reduction of greenhouse gas emissions in construction of new residential and commercial buildings not otherwise exempt on and after the effective date, and to amend Chapter 220 of the City Code to incorporate adoption of the specialized opt-in energy code. So before you tonight is not to adopt the specialized opt-in energy code. That has already been done in December. I'm focusing on the last part of that vote, and I have two concerns regarding that. So again, the language was to amend Chapter 220 of the City Code to incorporate adoption of the specialized opt-in energy code. So my first concern was that there has to be two votes taken by council. So the one vote that was taken was to adopt the specialized opt-in energy code. That required one vote. But the last part of it, there has to be two votes of council. This is not a zoning ordinance, but it is a regulatory ordinance. The second part that concerned me was that there was no language presented to make that amendment to the ordinances. I did meet with the city solicitor. She did draft that ordinance, the amendment, and that is in your background material. It's the first document, and the title is Order 2025-065-003, Draft Municode Language on behalf of the city clerk, RE Specialized Energy Code. So again, just to reinforce that we have already adopted the opt-in specialized energy code. I am just looking for the proper process to be followed so that we can amend the ordinance to to incorporate that into the ordinance and have that on the books. And through you, if this is appropriate, Mr. Chair, can I make a motion for you? Or
You can't make a motion,
or can I suggest a motion?
yeah, my only question is, do we have to refer this to the subcommittee?
Yes.
I think this has to be referred to the subcommittee since it's a consideration of an ordinance.
Mr. Chairman?
Yes.
First of all, this, 20, the ordinance from before is no longer before us. So 2506502 it doesn't exist anymore. So if we're going to do something in this council session, it has to start all brand new. So we would need to refer something to a subcommittee, and then we would have to have it come up from a subcommittee. My question, which is, I guess, a question for the solicitor, is when we adopt a state statute, it automatically gets incorporated into our code. So it's not a two-step process. The motion is a two-step because they're making it for reference, but if you read the attachment that is to go in the ordinances, it just refers you to the state code that was adopted. There's no specific regulations, there's no requirements, there's no nothing, which is not any different than when we adopt Chapter 61 for the police officers, or we adopt, some other statute. I don't know why the motion was written in a way to have a two-step process, because adopting the statute itself automatically incorporates it into that. What I would say, Mr. Chairman, is this is a fairly complicated legal issue that I think needs to be thrashed out. And what I would suggest is we refer this to, I'd say, the Rules Committee, and we not number it as 25, but we give it a brand-new number for this session so that it's its own entity, because we don't carry things over from.
So, a couple of things. I do agree that when you adopt a state, a law, it does become applicable. I think that's what you said. If we choose to put that notification or documentation of that adoption in our ordinance, I guess it has to be done that way, but I don't even know if we need to do that.
Correct.
Because it's done. But what I'll do is, thank you for bringing it up to us, number one, that there's an issue. And I'll refer it to the Rules Committee, and if we can try to figure it out and bring it back as to what we need to do, and get the solicitor, whoever else, to chime in, if that's okay.
Okay.
But I appreciate you waiting around, appreciate you for bringing it and explaining it to us.
Very much. Yeah, thank you.
All right, thank you.
Okay. Number 7 is upon request of the Traffic Commission, the consideration and vote to approve modification to on-street parking requirements for a portion of Arthur Street at Butterworth Park, no turns on Russell Road, and always stop on Danforth Street at Cottage Street. Mr. Hayes.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman.
Good evening.
Council. Matthew Hayes, Director of Traffic and Transportation. Before you tonight are 3 changes to the Framingham parking and traffic rules and regulations. One is for a no right turn onto Russell Road from Salem End Road between 6:30 and 9:30 a.m. That was installed as an experimental signage, and it has been working well. Again, it's not the only solution to cut through traffic between Salem End and Winter Street, but it has been working fairly well with police involvement in ticketing. The second is for a 4-way stop sign at the intersection of Danforth Street and Cottage Street. Before you, a couple of months ago, was the realignment of Danforth Street that included parking, realignment of the travelway, installation of a bike lane. Upon completion of that work, it was decided that a 4-way stop sign would improve safety at that location. Currently, it's a 2-way stop sign where Cottage Street alone stops at Danforth Street. So we're proposing a 4-way, all-way stop sign at that location. And the third item before you is similar to the Lincoln Street EV parking that was before you a month ago. We are proposing EV charging stations and EV parking at Butterworth Park on Arthur Street at the Bishop Street side. So 4 spaces, the first 4 spaces as you approach the park. And if you have any questions.
Okay, any questions on any of those items? Is there
So moved, Mr. Chairman.
Second.
any further discussion? Seeing none. All those in favor, Mr. Cannon?
Yes.
Mr. Alexander? Mr. Vianney?
Yes.
Ms. Malik?
Yes.
Mr. Stephanie? Yes. Ms. Bryant?
Yes.
Myself, yes. Ms. Limbrulu?
Yes.
Ms. Long?
Yes.
Mr. Ward?
Yes.
Ms. Feeney?
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you very
Mr.
much.
Okay. Upon request of the Community Development and Planning, consideration and acceptance of US Bike Route 1 through the city of Framingham. Mr. Sarkeesian, Mr. Chick.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. If I could yield my time
Yes,
to
yes.
Kerry and Ron Chick.
Yep,
Thank
that'd be
you.
great. Thank you.
Ron Chick, thank you, Chair. My presentation is intended to be concise, evidence-based overview of the broader value that walking and biking trails can provide communities. And do we have slides? And listening to EDC and trails really integrate with that because it provides amenities to new businesses, to new residents, and it's an attribute that's important.
Is this the one you want?
No, my slides, that's the next.
So it's the one called added draft trails presentation.
Yes. Okay. Shared use trails are not just recreational amenities. They're economic, health, transportation, accessibility, and equitable infrastructure with measurable benefits. I'm providing a concise, evidence-based overview grounded in Massachusetts and regional studies. This presentation is intended as a citywide reference. Slide 2. Economic benefits and research. Research supported by Mass DCR, Mass Trails, Kittleson and Associates demonstrates measurable economic benefits from connected trail systems. Shared use trails support local economic activity by increasing spending at nearby businesses and attracting visitors to connected trail networks. Regional economic studies also show that connected systems consistently generate greater impact than isolated trail segments. And the US Route 1 is an example of that. That's the next presentation. Next slide. Health and transportation benefits. Shared use trails provide, shared use trails support increased physical activity, which is consistently linked to improved public health and lower health care costs. Trails also provide an alternative to short car trips, helping reduce traffic congestion, transportation costs, and vehicle miles traveled. These benefits support healthier communities and more balanced transportation systems. Next slide. Trails provide low-cost recreation and transportation opportunities for residents of all ages and abilities. They help expand accessibility and mobility, particularly for seniors, families, individuals with disabilities, and residents without access to a car. Research consistently shows that connected trail systems perform better than isolated segments, supporting more users and broader community benefits. Next. Framingham Trail System context. Framingham already has a strong foundation of trail assets across multiple departments and state partners. They include conservation trails, parks and recreation trails, the Cochituate Rail Trail, Callahan State Park, and MWRA corridor opportunities. And that's another opportunity to open up more of the MWRA aqueducts that are already in existing footprint. Viewed together, these assets function as a system-wide, significant long-term connectivity potential. This includes opportunities connecting the Upper Charles Trail through downtown Framingham to the Bruce Freeman Rail Trail and the Mass Central Rail Trail. The logo on the top right is the Metro West Greenway Coalition. That's a coalition that I co-founded with the Solomon Foundation and with representatives from Holliston, and that is to connect the Upper Charles Trail that currently ends in Sherburne into downtown Framingham, where it would then connect to Farm Pond and the Bruce Freeman Trail. This footprint of the Upper Charles Trail, Farm Pond, the Bruce Freeman Trail, the Mass Central Rail Trail is also the footprint for the East Coast Greenway. The East Coast Greenway is a shared use trail beginning in Key West, Florida, through downtown Framingham. On the trails, the Upper Charles Trail, Bruce Freeman, and that would provide lots of economic benefits and community benefits for Framingham. Next slide. I have provided supplemental background resources and support materials containing active links to the reference studies and reports. The consistent takeaway from the supporting research is clear. Shared use trails, walking trails deliver real economic and community value. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. So is there any action being asked of us at this point?
No, I'm not asking for any action. The next speaker will be asking for action.
Who's the next speaker? And who is she? E, I'm sorry, I can't, but who is he?
I can't hear you, sir.
Yep. US Route 1 trail.
Can I just ask? Is there an ask from the administration?
Kerry Irons is on. He's representing the US Bike route. That's what they're asking, to designate some of the roads in Framingham as a US Route 1, and he's here tonight. He's online right now.
Is he a resident of Framingham?
No, he is not.
Okay.
So what is the city's ask? I'm just trying to follow this. I'm asking the city what the city's ask is, not a non-resident of Framingham.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Mr. Cannon, just hold on. So I think the question is the point of, treat as a point of order. What, just so we understand, what is the ask before I have, I don't know who this gentleman is. He's not related to Framingham.
So the ask is Kerry Irons, who's been asking for several months to get before the city council to designate some of the roads in Framingham as a major road that connects Maine all the way to Florida. Eventually, this route is going to be by the Bruce Freeman Trail, but this is an interim process to designate some of the roads as the Route 1 corridor. And he's here tonight. He represents Adventure Cycling Association, and I'm sorry.
No, you keep going. No, wait, Mr. Cannon, please.
That's what I'm asking.
I know, we're getting confused here. You finish, Mr. Sarkeesian.
Yes, so he has requested that some of these roads be designated. Other communities have already done this, in that basically they would be in charge of signs and placing this route, this actually designating a route that makes all these connections through the various communities. So he needs permission to allow signage to go up on our right-of-ways.
Mr. Cannon.
Thank you. What I was trying to, listen, I'm all on board for the trails and all of that. I was unclear, is the administration supportive of the ask? Because I asked the question 3 times and you kept pointing to a non-resident.
No.
Let me ask my clarifying question, please. If that's not the case, then let's refer it somewhere and move forward. I'd like to understand, does putting up the signs, or is this a bike lane? I'm unclear on the details, and it's not in the background material.
Yeah. It is not a bike lane. It's a designation of where bikes could travel from one point from the north all the way to the south.
The Traffic Commission.
Hold on for a second. Wait a minute. It does feel like it's something that should be referred, just if we're going to be asked to designate roads and things like that. So it does feel like it's a referral as opposed to, and I apologize if I didn't have full grasp of this, but I feel like it should go to a subcommittee instead of, we don't generally, as a whole, take issues like this as a full council at first hit. So I think it should probably be referred. Does anyone object to it being referred?
And I'm flexible. If you want to send it somewhere else, I'm fine with that. But let's give someone the time to really dig into the details, so we do.
So I'm just asking now, does anyone object to a referral?
Yes.
Okay, why?
I would feel
Briefly, just
comfortable-
why? I'll get back
Right.
to you for comments, but why do you object to a referral?
Because I believe that, Mr. Irons, we have a plethora of trails and bike organizations, which Mr. Chick is very well aware of, and I think that Mr. Irons should have gone to one of them and had them then present it to us.
Well,
Like
all right.
Framingham, one of the
All right, so
Framingham organizations.
I think a referral to the traffic commission that I hear suggested?
I sent it to a subcommittee.
Yeah, that's what I
Fine, too.
thought.
I'm
Right.
fine with that.
That's what I thought. I think the subcommittee makes sense.
Mr. Chair, can I have a-
Take it.
Environmental would seem to make sense, yeah. So I'll refer it to the environmental subcommittee, okay?
Second.
Can I make a comment, Mr. Chair, or no?
So you can, but I mean, if we're going to refer it, everybody got their hands up, why?
I just want to give some context, because I was down in Key West like a couple weeks ago, and I think I know where they're going with it. So I just wanted to provide a little bit of context with this particular issue. And that is, I think I understand what they're trying to do is that they, like, when I was down there, it's like Shore Boulevard is the beginning, I guess, of this trail. And there's like a sign, like state of Florida or city of Key West or something like that. And it'd just be a stretch of that road. And then there's another stretch somewhere else. So that's all I'm going to say.
Okay. So, Mr. Ward, Ms. Long, do you guys have anything you want to say if this gets referred? Do you want to say something now? Mr. Ward, start with you.
Yeah, just quickly, are we just approving the concept, or are we being asked about signs? Because signs would be the traffic commission.
Right.
No?
Right. I agree, but I think we have to work at the concept first, so that's probably why it's going to environmental. I'm sure they can make that request.
So can I amend my motion would that be helpful?
There's not a motion necessary.
Well, I thought I moved that it be referred to however you want to do it.
Yeah, I don't think we need a motion
That's
for it.
fine.
All right, Ms. Long, anything?
Yep, I just want to make a comment, seeing that I've looked at the potential route, and I have serious concerns about safety all along Edgel Road and all the other roads that are outlined on that. So, and I also want more detail as to, is this going to be a bike lane put on the road?
Right, well, I
Is
think that's
this-
why, I don't think so,
so
but
if-
that's why I think we need to send it to the environmental committee. You guys can look at it, and then you can determine whether the traffic commission.
And last comment, we already have the Bruce Freeman Rail Trail that's going through that same area as far
Right,
as
well, Mr.
Edgel
Sarkeesian or Mr. Chick said that would be, this is just a temporary until the Bruce Freeman gets opened up. So I think we all support the idea, but let's send it so we don't have a long, complex discussion in the city council meeting.
Okay.
We're going to refer it to the environmental subcommittee for their advice as to where it goes from here. Okay, Mr. Chick, the last word on this.
Just one quick comment.
Sure.
Holliston and Sherburne have approved the concept in their communities.
Okay.
And Framingham is next in line.
All right, Mr. Irons, thank you for joining, but if you could, Mr. Chick or whoever you're in contact with will tell you when the environmental subcommittee is, and you can zoom into that, and I'm sure that they will be happy to have you.
No problem. Thanks for your time.
Thank you. Okay, thank you all. All right, next is the first, is request from Finance Subcommittee recommendation regarding $10,000 FY26 capital budget appropriation for sanitation roll-off vehicle. Mr. Oliviani can explain what that is.
Yep. Order 2026-043-001, the City Council on May 19, 2026, upon the request of the Finance Subcommittee, recommendation vote regarding the consideration of a transfer into the amount of $10,000 from the FY26 capital budget appropriation for sanitation roll-off vehicle to two FY26 capital budget appropriations for sanitation packers, order number 2026-043 DPW. It's a capital transfer. The motion was made, it was seconded, it was voted 4-0, which was unanimous at the time because I was late to the meeting, so it was 4-0 to move approval.
Second.
So moved by Mr. Ottaviani, seconded by Mr. Cannon. Any questions? Follow-up discussion? Okay, seeing none. Mr. Alexander?
Yes.
Mr. Ottaviani?
Yes.
Ms. Malik?
Yes.
Yes.
Ms. Bryant?
Yes.
Myself, yes. Ms. Leon-Bruno?
Yes.
Ms. Long?
Yes.
Mr. Ward?
Yes.
Ms. Feeney?
Yes.
Mr. Cannon?
Yes.
Okay. Next item is request the Finance Subcommittee, a recommendation regarding a budget transfer of $15,728 in the Treasurer's Office. Mr. Ottaviani?
Yep. Order number 2026-044-001 upon the request of the Finance Subcommittee recommendation and a vote regarding the budget transfer of $15,728 from the salary budget line to the operating budget line to allow a temporary worker to continue working until June 30th, 2026. This also was voted, a motion was made and seconded. It was voted unanimously 4-0. I was not present for that vote. And it is in the Treasurer's Office to allow that employee to continue working.
Second.
And that's the motion. Thank you.
Any further discussion, questions? Seeing none, all those in favor, Mr. Ottaviani?
Yes.
Ms. Malik?
Yes.
Mr. Stephanie? Ms. Bryant?
Yes.
Myself, yes. Ms. Leon-Bruno?
Yes.
Ms. Long?
Yes.
Mr. Ward?
Yes.
Ms. Feeney?
Yes.
Mr. Cannon?
Yes.
Mr. Alexander?
Yep.
Okay. Next is upon request of the Finance Subcommittee, a recommendation of vote regarding the reservation of FY 2027 Community Preservation Funds.
Order 2026-046-001 upon the request of the Finance Subcommittee, a recommendation vote regarding the reservation of FY 2027 CPC funds. The vote was unanimous. That was 5-0-0, and that is the motion.
Second.
You want to just briefly state what this encompasses?
Yes, my name is Heather O'Donnell. I am the Community Preservation Coordinator for the City of Framingham. So tonight you're approving the Community Preservation Committee's budget for fiscal year 2027. So the budget is broken down into 5 main accounts. There's the budgeted reserve, the open space and outdoor recreation account, the historic preservation account, and the community housing account. So each year we need to reserve 10% for each of the 3 categories that I just mentioned. We also have administrative funds, which is 5% of our budget. Our revenue is derived from local revenue, which is the 1% sales tax, or 1% property tax. It's 1% off of the real property taxes, then also the annual estate match and interest and earnings. So I'm happy to answer any questions you might have.
Are there any questions? Seeing none, it's been moved and seconded. All those in favor? Sorry, I gotta get to my list. That would start with Ms. Malik,
Yes. Yes.
Mr. Stefanini, Ms. Bryant,
Yes.
myself, yes, Ms. Leon-Bruno,
Yes.
Ms. Long,
Yes.
Mr. Ward,
Yes.
Ms. Feeney.
Yes.
Mr. Cannon.
Yes.
Mr. Alexander.
Yep.
Mr. Ottaviani.
Yes.
Okay, thank you very much. Next is recommendation regarding the FY 27 to FY 31 recommended capital improvement program. This is really essentially the capital budget.
Yep. Order 2025-074-002 upon the request of the Finance Subcommittee, a recommendation and a vote upon the FY 2027 to the FY 2031 recommended capital improvement program. The vote was 4-1. It was voted to approve everything except the following: Public Works Chevy Equinox replacement, $43,000. Public Works Chevy Equinox, $43,000. Parks covered by these weren't done because these were covered by the CPC. Parks were covered by the CPC. The Walsh Dunning softball engineering design, $500,000. Parks covered by CPC. The Washington Beach rec area improvements and accessibility, $300,000. Parks covered by CPC. Simpson Park engineering. And just as a footnote, we approved the $80,000 for the Bowditch scoreboard, but there was a note. I said that I was getting a list, which I'm working on. We've got about 20 names on it so far. It wasn't a list of nonprofits. It was a list of people in the business community that supported Veterans Park that I suggested there used to be a group that was headed up by Bob Marusi. It was Friend of Park and Recs, and then it dissolved for some reason. You know, you have the Friends of Callahan, you have all these other organizations that are nonprofits that can go out and solicit funds. That's when the word nonprofit came in. You need a nonprofit that can go solicit these businesses and then use the money, and then you could actually put somebody's name. You know, I think Herb Connolly Chevrolet, they had the scoreboard in one of the gymnasiums, and this is a way to go raise like $80,000 and help with the budget, and especially in the times we're in. I think we raised over $120,000 for Veterans Park, and the only money we got from the city was some overtime or some money that didn't get expended in Park and Rec's budget that they gave to us. But we sold flagpoles, benches, and plaques, and we got it done. So there are other ways, and you know, you have to sometimes think out of the box in these times that we're living in, and with all of our budget constraints. So I have that list, and I'll get it over to Mr. Snyder and Mr. McGinty. But in the meantime, what we do need to do, they need to find a group that will, you know, open up and like the Friends of Park and Recs, and needs to establish that. So I'm doing that part also. So that's just a little caveat to the motion. So thank you.
Yes. So Ms. Malik, then Ms. Feeney.
So
We need a second, right?
Well, we have to have a public hearing on the capital budget per the charter, which I don't think we did at the beginning. I can't remember if when we first had it referred to us, we had a public hearing, but I don't think so.
I can't
So-
remember either, so I think we definitely have to have one.
We
so.
have, yeah, and the charter language is not clear if it has to be in finance or in the council as a whole.
Capital has always been in
The council as a whole? Okay, so just to say that we can't vote it, right?
Yeah, unless we can find out that we had one. So we had so many public hearings, I just can't remember whether we had one or not. Because this has been with us for so long. Mr. Tassino?
Didn't we have one in November when we submitted it? I thought we did. We could probably check, but
Yeah. Well, if you can find that evidence, we'll be happy to take it. I have some recollection too, but like I say, we have so many public hearings, I don't know. Sweeney.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. A couple of questions, and first, I'd just like to commend the finance chair with the out-of-the-box thinking for the scoreboard. I think that's a great idea, and we need to look for more projects like that to get the community involved to help us out. So a couple of things. One, I'm just looking at these documents here. I don't see an updated document that reflects what the finance subcommittee voted on about the vehicles. So there's that. Second, this is also supposed to be a vote upon the 27 to 31 recommended capital improvement program. I don't see those files here either to look at the whole picture. And then I brought this up a couple of months ago, even in the 27 CHIP final list, I don't see the parking garage, 188 Concord Street, or the community center in any of those in this list. And I'm assuming we're going to be doing some work on those buildings moving forward, and it just seems like they should be in the CHIP. I'm more than happy to be wrong, but I just am curious, you know.
Well, so
Yeah.
First of all, I think you only vote on the current year's budget. You don't vote on, because we're only asking for funding, bonding funding for the first year. So that's what's before you, the first year. We're not asking for money for 188 Concord Street because all the money is coming from the state 911 grant for the first 3 years. So we don't anticipate any capital money being appropriated through the city. Same thing with the community center. We don't expect any requests for local funding to do any work there while we explore other sources of funds from state and federal grants. So that's why that doesn't appear on the list as well. I forgot what the other one was.
The garage.
The parking garage, same story. We don't expect to request any local funding for the garage while we're seeking additional money for the garage from the state. We already have $8 million appropriated, and we're going to be looking for more money from the state to make the garage larger. So we don't anticipate asking for any local money until we've exhausted all our attempts to get state money.
Okay, I would just say that moving forward, when we visit this again, that the recommendation and vote should be changed from FY 2027 to FY 2031 to just be FY 27, because this language is incorrect.
I
then.
think you're correct, that's, should be taken care of.
Well, I got
All
one
right.
thing right, so I'll take that. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
So I do think that we probably should make it a little bit clearer. Thank you, Ms. Kelly. We did in fact have the public hearing, so my vague recollection, at least, I feel a little bit better about myself. We had it on March 3rd, 2026. As I say, it was only a vague recollection. So therefore, it would be available to be voted upon.
Mr. Chairman?
Yes. We don't have to vote upon it, but it would be available to be voted upon.
Don't we need a more detailed motion so that these can be financed?
Yes, we do need a more detailed motion, and I think that's a good point. We do need a more detailed motion, and we also need, I think the point that someone made, that we probably should have the list a little bit clearer. So I think it does probably make sense to table it to the next meeting where it can be a little bit more,
Make a suggestion?
a little bit more of a detailed presentation. Yes.
Given the fact we need 2 votes on this, why don't we just take the first vote and then the second one can...
I think that's even a better suggestion, since we do need 2 votes and we are getting to the end of the year. So, and we can make any amendments in the second vote, and the second vote is really the only vote that does need that detailed motion, so that would make sense. And it doesn't, and if we voted through the first item, it doesn't prohibit anybody from making any amendments to it, changes to it, or anything like that. So I think that's a good idea. So it's moved by Mr. Stefanini, seconded by Ms. Leon Bruno,
Second.
that they be approved at the first reading. Mr. Ward.
One quick question. I don't know if Heather O'Donnell is still there, but so the Walsh Dunning softball complex design got pulled out because it got funded by CPA, but the CPA only funded it for like $325,000. Is that enough for that? Because it's listed as $500,000 in the CIP.
I don't know. Mr. Alviani might be able to answer, but if I recall from the Finance Subcommittee, we were told that funding was acceptable to them, but we can find that out between now and the next time, too.
Okay, that's just an outstanding question, but.
She is not still here. No one is here, actually. Except for the administration.
What we were told, Mr. Chair, but-
Except for the administration and ourselves, no.
He is here.
Yeah, right.
Noble, you're all by yourself.
So, anyways, yes. All right. All right, so, does anybody else want to discuss any more about this tonight? And we will get it a little bit more organized, I think, for next time. Okay, so all those in favor for the first reading, I need to get back to my list. Sorry.
Yes.
Mr. Stefanini, yes. Ms. Bryant?
Yes.
Myself, yes. Ms. Leon Bruno?
Yes.
Ms. Long?
Yes.
Mr. Ward?
Yes.
Ms. Feeney?
Yep.
Mr. Cannon?
Yes.
Mr. Alexander?
Yep.
Mr. Aviani?
Yes.
Ms. Malik?
Yes.
Okay, thank you all. Okay, so next is some referrals requested to the Chief Financial Officer, referrals to the Finance Subcommittee to pay prior year bills. No objection, they'll be referred. Number 14 is requested of the SEB Housing, referral to the Finance Subcommittee of affordable rents and affordable unit income limits for Bancroft lofts in the Union House. If there's no objection, it will be referred. Upon request of Councilor Feeney, a referral to the Rules, Ordinance, and Ethics Subcommittee, consideration of a proposed local business procurement preference policy ordinance. If there's no objection, it will be referred. And last, upon request of Councilor Feeney, a referral to the Rules, Ordinance, and Ethics Subcommittee, consideration of a proposed amendment to the sign zoning ordinance. Seeing no objection, I'll refer it. Report of the council chair, I don't have any report right now that I can think of. A report of the subcommittees. Any subcommittee with a report? Ms. Malik?
The next meeting of the Environmental Subcommittee will be on June 3rd at 8 PM, fully remote.
Thank you. Okay, and report of councilors.
I was going to, Mr. Chair, I was going to just add one. Youth Council is 6th of June.
Okay, thank you. Report of councilors, Ms. Bryant.
I just wanted to let people know, first, on behalf of District 9, I wanted to thank DPW, which, yet again, I mean, the work that they do, they're so committed, they go above and beyond all the time, and Parks and Rec, which actually, this accolade is for Parks and Rec. The heat, you know what the heat index was today. And Arlington Park has a splash pad. Arlington Park is a very highly used park, lots of kids and whatnot. But it was gonna be so hot. So I called to ask to make sure the splash pad would be available. And they had already been working on it because it wasn't operating properly. But early in the day, which proves they had been working on it, they got everything working, including the filling your water bottle up. And that's big for a neighborhood with so many kids and so many parents, and just it's just I find that a lot of what they've been doing is just extraordinary. Like, they are dotting the i's, crossing the t's, and a lot of it goes unnoticed. Some is noticed, but some isn't. So on behalf of District 9, grateful parents, grateful kids, grateful just general population for that. And obviously the work on Mary Dennison and minimizing the traffic difficulties there. And DPW, I'm not gonna go into every single project, even with your reduced staff, that absolutely needs to be replenished, so that, more work can be done, which they want to do. But, they can only do one thing at a time, with the number of staff they have, but they actually work as if they had 3 times the amount of staff. And it does not go unnoticed. And so we thank you for that. And I would like to thank my residents for their patience and cooperation. And also, we're asking that the noise ordinances be respected, too. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else? Ms. Malik?
I have a question. Our chair, I think for you, on the status of applicants for the our SIFOC appointments. I saw that the school committee reopened their call for applicants, and I didn't know what our status was.
I'm not sure. Do you know how many we have?
We have one expiring at the end of June. I don't know if they've been run.
So have we advertised them yet? No?
SIFOC was advertised for sure. The question is, did we get any applicants?
I
I haven't
don't
seen
get the
any.
applications, they get forwarded to me.
Yeah, I haven't seen anything either, so.
We do have a CPC application, from what I understand, and SIFOC, I reached out to the person who's currently in the role and asked if they're interested. I don't know if she's reapplied or not.
Okay. So we'll take care of that.
Motion to adjourn?
Yes, sir.
Second.
Second.
Okay, all those in favor? Start in the room. Ms. Malik?
Yes.
Ms. Sweeney?
Yes.
Stephanie?
Yes.
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 Shannon?
Yes.
Ms. Alexander?
Y'all know what it is, Longhorn.
Ms. Bryant?
Yes.
Ms. Long?
Yes.
Fabiani?
Yep.
Mr. Ward?
Yes.